The root of the struggle most men face in the dating world is not a lack of charm or character, but a fundamental lack of calibration. When you treat every woman you meet as if she belongs to one identical group, you are essentially using a single static strategy and hoping for the best. This approach fails because it ignores the reality that women process attraction through very different psychological lenses. You can think of these frameworks as colors: red, blue, yellow, and green, and each one requires a specific type of communication. If you walk into an interaction using the wrong language for the wrong color, you immediately create friction. For example, the high energy challenge that excites a red personality will likely bore or alienate a blue one, and the low pressure comfort that makes a green feel safe might completely overwhelm a yellow who is looking for social stimulation. To truly master the art of connection, you have to shift your focus away from performing a script and toward observing the person in front of you. Most guys are so worried about what they are going to say next that they miss the vital clues being given to them. By learning to identify a woman's color within the first 60 seconds of a conversation, you effectively gain a personalized roadmap to her interest. You stop guessing and start knowing exactly how fast to move, which topics to lean into, and what specific triggers will make her feel a genuine desire to chase you. This level of awareness changes the dynamic from you trying to prove your worth to you, understanding her world so well that the attraction becomes a natural, effortless byproduct of the interaction. The red type is defined by a sense of urgency, speed, and social dominance. These are the women who enter a room with clear purpose, maintain intense eye contact without flinching, and possess the ability to decide whether they are interested in you within the first few seconds of an encounter. Because they often lead high-intensity lives, they have extremely high standards for the people they allow into their inner circle. A red woman is not searching for a polite guy who simply agrees with everything she says just to be liked. She is looking for a man who has enough internal strength and personal frame to match her fast pace. She values efficiency and directness above all else. If you spend too much time on boring small talk about the weather or your job title, she will mentally check out because you haven't provided any substance or excitement for her to engage with. The most common mistake men make when dealing with a red personality is falling into the trap of seeking her validation. When a red woman mentions a significant achievement or a unique trip she recently took, most men instinctively start qualifying themselves by listing their own accomplishments to show they are on her level. To a red woman, this behavior immediately smells like insecurity and a need for approval. She doesn't want you to prove your worth to her. She wants you to be the one man who actually challenges her. If she mentions a luxury vacation rather than showering her with typical praise, you should throw a playful curveball. You might ask if she actually bothered to leave the resort and experience the real culture, or if she just stayed by the pool the whole time. By questioning her in this way, you signal that you are not easily impressed by status or surface-level details. This creates a psychological vacuum where she feels the sudden urge to earn your approval, effectively flipping the script so that she becomes the one doing the chasing. To maintain a red woman's interest over time, you must keep a consistent level of tension in the interaction. This strategy is based on the principle of scarcity. If you are too easy to win over or too available with your praise, you lose all your value in her eyes. However, it is vital to understand that there is a very fine line to walk here. If you become too aggressive, arrogant, or dismissive of her as a person, she will simply label you a jerk and walk away. The secret is to challenge her choices, her tastes, or her opinions, but never her actual character or her worth as a human being. Your goal is to be the one person in her life who isn't afraid to say no to her or call her out on her nonsense. When you position yourself as a hurdle that she has to clear to get your full attention, you become the prize that she feels compelled to win. The blue type represents a complete shift in energy from the high-intensity world of the reds. These women are the thoughtful observers of the social landscape, moving through life with a calm, measured pace and processing their experiences primarily through their emotions. For a blue, the foundation of attraction isn't built on a flash of excitement or a witty comeback, but on a deep sense of safety and genuine understanding. If you try to use high-energy teasing or aggressive alpha tactics on her, she won't interpret your behavior as confidence. Instead, she will perceive it as unpredictable chaos. Her internal defense mechanisms will trigger, and she will likely shut down or distance herself before the conversation even gets started because she doesn't feel a grounded connection. Inside the mind of a blue woman, there is a constant unspoken question. Does this guy actually see who I am, or is he just talking at me? Because they have a natural distaste for performance and phoniness, they can spot a rehearsed line from a mile away. To successfully attract a blue, you have to abandon the script and practice true presence. This means being highly observant of the subtle details most men overlook. If she mentions a book she is currently reading, the wrong move is to ask for a plot summary like a reporter. The right move is to ask why she was drawn to that specific story or how the themes are resonating with her current state of mind. You are showing her that you are interested in her internal world, not just her external appearance. While a red woman tests to see if you will chase her, a blue woman tests to see if you are consistent enough to stay when things get real. However, there is a specific danger zone when connecting with a blue woman that you must navigate carefully. Because they value emotional depth, many men make the mistake of becoming too heavy or overly serious, which quickly leads to the dreaded emotional support friend role. You might find yourself in 5-hour conversations about life and philosophy, only to find that all romantic tension has evaporated. To avoid this, you must master the balance of being deep but also having a sharp, playful edge. You want to show her that you can understand her soul, but you also need to be the person who can pull her out of her head and back into the physical moment with a smirk or a lighthearted challenge. By providing that unique mix of emotional safety and masculine playfulness, you ensure that she feels both comfortable in your presence and deeply attracted to your energy. The yellow type functions as the vibrant lifeblood of any social setting, bringing a sense of warmth and high energy wherever they go. These women are naturally expressive and thrive on social stimulation, variety, and constant movement. Unlike a red who wants a challenge or a blue who wants deep safety, a yellow woman is primarily looking for a partner in fun. She views life as an ongoing series of exciting chapters, and her main criteria for attraction is whether being around you makes her life more enjoyable and adventurous. She is not interested in a man who acts like a brooding mystery or someone who tries to exert high-pressure dominance. Instead, she wants to see that you can match her upbeat frequency and become a co-pilot for the next spontaneous experience. To connect with a yellow, you have to be willing to engage in the spirit of play. When she shares a story about her day, you should never just offer a polite nod or wait for your turn to talk about yourself. You need to lean into her narrative by asking about the people involved or adding your own humorous perspective to the situation. If she mentions a specific restaurant or event, turn it into a shared moment by joking about the atmosphere or the funny types of people you both might encounter there. This creates an exclusive inner circle vibe where it feels like the two of you are a team laughing at the world together. A major trap here is that yellows are naturally friendly to everyone, which often leads men to become lazy and assume she is already sold. You cannot afford to coast on her natural politeness. You have to stay engaged to prove you are actually contributing to the energy rather than just consuming hers. The real secret to building a lasting bond with a yellow is showing her that you can see past her social mask. Because she is usually the one responsible for keeping the energy high and entertaining the room, she often feels like people only value her for her outgoing exterior. Many men dismiss her as a surface-level party girl, which leaves her feeling unseen in a meaningful way. If you can take a moment to step away from the high-energy banter and offer a grounded, genuine observation about her character, it will change everything. Mention something you noticed about how she treats others or a specific quiet passion she has that most people ignore. When you show her that you appreciate who she is when the performance ends and the music stops, you stop being just another face in the crowd and become the one person she truly wants to keep around. Green women are frequently the most misunderstood type because they don't scream for attention and operate with a quiet, understated energy. While other types might seek out high-octane excitement or intense emotional depth, greens prioritize peace, consistency, and low-stress environments above everything else. They aren't interested in a temporary spark that burns bright and then disappears. They are looking for a steady, reliable flame that adds warmth to their life without burning it down. A green woman is typically very comfortable in her own skin and perfectly content with her own company or a tiny, trusted circle of friends. Because of this, she views any man who is too loud, too aggressive, or emotionally demanding as a direct threat to her tranquility. If you try to use flashy pickup lines or complex psychological games on a green, she won't be impressed. She will simply find you exhausting and quietly stop responding to your messages. The real secret to connecting with a green woman is the power of normalcy. This might sound strange in an age where dating advice tells you to be as extraordinary and alpha as possible. But for a green woman, finding a man who is a consistent, grounded presence is actually what makes him extraordinary. You don't build attraction with her by creating massive spikes of drama or excitement. Instead, you build it through a slow, steady accumulation of positive, low-pressure interactions. If she takes a few hours to text you back, you have to understand that she isn't playing a game or testing your reaction. She is simply living her life and enjoying her peace. If you react with frustration or try to pull a move to get her attention, you immediately lose her respect. However, if you remain steady, unbothered, and patient, you prove that you are a safe person to let into her world. Building a lasting bond with a green woman is about becoming a seamless addition to her daily life rather than a disruptive force. You show your value by noticing the small, practical things, like how she prefers her coffee or the specific times her schedule gets busy, and you find ways to support her routine rather than interrupting it. A green woman shows her interest through her availability rather than through big romantic gestures. If she consistently says yes to hanging out and keeps showing up, that is her way of telling you she likes you. You must resist the urge to push for more proof or force a deep confession of feelings before she is ready. If you let the connection grow at its own natural pace, she will eventually realize that being with you is actually easier and more peaceful than being alone. Once you become a source of comfort rather than a source of stress, she will lock in and stay. The ultimate power in any social interaction comes from your ability to identify these different personality types instantly. You can do this by paying close attention to how a woman moves and occupies space. A red personality is easy to spot because she is decisive and quick, moving with a sense of urgency as if she has somewhere important to be. A blue personality is much slower and more observant, often taking a moment to scan the environment before committing to an action. A yellow personality is expressive, using her hands and a louder vocal range to fill the room with energy, while a green personality remains neutral and calm, blending into the background with a steady, unhurried presence. Beyond just watching her, you should also listen to how your own body reacts to her energy. If you suddenly feel like you are in a race and need to keep up, you are likely talking to a red. If you feel like you need to slow down and be extremely careful with your words, she is probably a blue. If you feel an immediate surge of social energy, as if you just stepped into a party, she is a yellow. And if you feel your shoulders drop and feel like you can finally breathe, you have found a green. Mastering this system is all about calibration, which is the practice of adjusting your natural frequency to match hers without losing your own identity in the process. This is not about being fake or putting on a mask. It is about being socially effective. We already do this in other areas of our lives, such as speaking differently to a boss than we would to a close friend. Calibration simply means choosing which specific parts of your personality to emphasize so that the connection feels as smooth and natural as possible for her. When you stop trying to force every woman into the same psychological box, you stop hitting the walls of rejection and confusion. You begin to see dating not as a stressful struggle to prove you are good enough, but as a fascinating process of finding the right language for the specific person in front of you. Once you master the colors, you no longer have to guess what to do next because you finally have the tools to master the room.